What if you dropped your child off at the school bus stop one morning, and they simply never came home? No note, no phone call, no trace, just gone. Now imagine that 18 years later, you discovered your child had been alive the entire time, hidden just 170 miles away, in a backyard, behind a fence, in a shed. That is not a horror movie. That is exactly what happened to Jaycee Dugard. And what she survived will leave you speechless. A normal morning. Jaycee Lee Dugard was born on May 3, 1980, in South Lake Tahoe, California. In September 1990, her family moved from Los Angeles County to Myers, a quiet, rural town just south of South Lake Tahoe, because they thought it would be a safer community to raise their children. Let that sink in. They moved there for safety. On the morning of June 10, 1991, Jaycee's mother left early for work. 11-year-old Jaycee put on her favorite all-pink outfit and walked up the hill from her house to catch the school bus. She was in the 5th grade and was looking forward to an upcoming field trip. She never made it to that bus stop. When she was halfway up the hill, a gray car approached her. She thought the driver was stopping to ask for directions. Instead, Philip Garrido rolled down the window and tossed her unconscious with a stun gun. His wife Nancy dragged Jaycee into the car and removed her clothing, leaving only a small butterfly-shaped ring that Jaycee would secretly hide from them for the next 18 years. That ring was the last piece of her old life she held on to. The journey into darkness. Nancy covered Jaycee with a blanket and held her down as she drifted in and out of consciousness during a 3-hour drive to the Garrido's property, 120 miles away in Antioch, California. Philip Garrido was already a convicted sex offender, on parole after serving less than 12 years of a combined 55-year sentence for kidnapping and rape. He was supposed to be monitored. He was supposed to be supervised. And yet he was free and hunting for his next victim. The system had already failed once. And now it had failed Jaycee. 18 years in a backyard. Philip and Nancy drove Jaycee directly to their home in Antioch. Once there, she was kept in a backyard complex of shacks and a makeshift shed. For 18 years, Jaycee remained completely hidden. Upon arriving, Garrido placed Jaycee inside a tiny shed that had been soundproofed. He handcuffed her and warned her that trained Doberman pinschers outside would attack her if she tried to escape. She was 11 years old, alone, chained, in a shed, in someone's backyard. For the next 18 years, the couple imprisoned her in the backyard compound, torturing her with sexual and psychological abuse. During those years, she only left the compound for certain supervised trips, and only after the Garridos had spent years terrifying her into complete obedience. Then, the unthinkable happened inside that compound. Jaycee gave birth to her first daughter in 1994 when she was just 14 years old. She gave birth to a second daughter in 1997 when she was 17. Both children were fathered by Philip Garrido. Both girls grew up in that same backyard, never attending school, never seeing a doctor, never knowing the outside world. The search. Back in South Lake Tahoe, the world had not forgotten Jaycee. Law enforcement, federal, state, and local, swarmed the area. Flyers blanketed the region. Neighborhoods were canvassed, residents interviewed. Thousands of tips and alleged sightings flooded in. Search dogs and teams spread out across the entire region. But there were no leads. Jaycee had been kidnapped without a trace. Her mother, Terry Probin, never gave up hope. But as the days turned to months and the months turned to years, there was still no sign of her little girl. Meanwhile, parole officers made 60 visits to Philip Garrido's property over the years. Neighbors even reported seeing girls living in his backyard. And still nothing was done. Nobody looked. Nobody found her. 18 years passed. The discovery. On August 24th and 25th, 2009, Philip Garrido visited the campus of the University of California, Berkeley, accompanied by 2 adolescent girls. who were later discovered to be his biological daughters with Jaycee. Two alert campus police officers, Lisa Campbell and Ally Jacobs, saw Philip walking with the girls and knew something wasn't right. They ran a background check and discovered his prior sex crime convictions. His parole officer ordered Garrido to bring the two girls to a parole office in Concord, California on August 26. He arrived accompanied by a woman going by the name Alyssa, who was eventually identified as Jaycee Dugard herself. After 18 years, 2 months, and 16 days, Jaycee was finally free. When she was found, she was a 29-year-old woman with two daughters aged 11 and 15, who had spent almost her entire life in captivity. Justice and life after. Philip Garrido received a sentence of 431 years to life in prison. Nancy received a 36-year sentence for her role in the kidnapping. And Jaycee? She refused to be defined by what was done to her. She released a memoir titled A Stolen Life in 2011, followed by a second book, Freedom, My Book of Firsts, in 2016, detailing her journey of rebuilding her life. Today, Jaycee is the founder and president of the Jaycee Foundation, an organization dedicated to supporting families and individuals who have experienced severe trauma, spreading a message of hope, growth, and resilience. She lost 18 years, but she refused to lose herself. Jaycee Dugard was taken on an ordinary morning, on an ordinary street, in a town her family chose because they believed it was safe. Her story is a reminder that evil does not announce itself. It drives up quietly in a gray car. But it is also a story of something even more powerful than evil: survival, resilience, the unbreakable human spirit. If the story moved you, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Every week we bring you real stories of real people, because these stories deserve to be told and never forgotten. Drop a comment below. What do you think should happen to people like Philip Garrido? Let us know. And stay tuned, because next week, we are covering another jaw-dropping California true crime case that will leave you absolutely speechless.